You haven't had any issues where, the performer like discovered that you did gay porn and then and was like, no, I don't want to work with him.
No.
That's great.
No. And because what you were talking about, 10, 15 years ago, it was definitely like, oh no, you're not. There was a reason. I mean, it was the HIV epidemic, AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
It was a thing. I mean, in my beginning discovering my sexuality, I was afraid to have sex. For us, it was a death sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept from exploring a lot of myself because I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the advent of testing how it is, and I'm also on what's called pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP. It's a miracle drug. It is a miracle pill that I take daily that keeps me HIV negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if I come into contact with someone that is HIV positive and not maintaining their level of infection, viral load. I hate that they call it that.
Because you love loads. That's the problem.
Not that load though.
Right.
Yeah. So if they're not, like, at least you're protecting yourself from contracting HIV if you come into contact with it.
And it's also, I mean, they're still doing studies on it, but it is safe for women. And so I'm on PrEP and I have been for over a year because I like to be completely in control of my health, right? I mean, of course, being in this industry, there's going to be some risk when you're, being that physically intimate with so many people, but I'm testing every 2 weeks or less. And then also being on PrEP means that I basically can't contract HIV if I were to run into it. And so that makes me feel safe about whoever I work with because I'm the one who's in control of it. I'm not relying on them to take a pill every day or for them not to do something outside of the industry that's unsafe with, male, female, whatever, gay, doesn't matter. So
it's so crazy, like how just the way that it has changed with HIV. So, I remember, I grew up around the industry and my parents were shooting movies when HIV like it first entered into like the world, right?
Yeah.
And that's actually what stopped my mom from shooting movies because she, it was very scary.
Yeah.
And my parents were one of the only people who were trying to test performers. And we had a blood truck outside of our home. I remember this as a kid.
Wow.
And they would have performers come out and test. But the problem is that, it would take 2 weeks to get results back. And then like, who knows what you do in that time period. And so like, after a while, they just felt like incredibly nervous and it just felt really unsafe. So they stopped shooting movies. And at the time, magazines were super lucrative. And at the time, you actually didn't shoot penetration for magazines. It was all the like, pose next to a vagina with like a semi-limp dick. So like, she could like shoot that and she didn't have to shoot movies and she could, so that's.
She didn't have to.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, but they stopped shooting movies back like in the late 70s, like early 80s because of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty, and now like here we are where you can take medicine to literally prevent yourself from even getting it if you come in contact with somebody.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing that is helpful is that I'm HIV negative and I will let anyone know. I'm on this medication that will keep me this way.
Yeah.
Like no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And so I think that's it makes people realize you're safe, healthy. Like I'm not going to have my health compromised because of what you do on the side kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I really haven't experienced any difficulty getting work on the straight side.
It's amazing.
And it's been great.
The landscape has changed so much. It's really great.
I also attribute it to my professionalism and what she's taught me.
Striking good looks.
I was trying to be humble.
That jawline.
I was trying to be humble.
He's going to mention his awards again. Here we go. No, it's been really fun to share what I've learned, of course, too. But I wouldn't recommend him or I wouldn't, be so adamant about making sure he knows all the things that I know if he didn't show up and do the job and was reliable. Yeah. And like, I'm happy to be able to help in any way that I can.
Yeah.
Because he does a good job.